everyone, Awesome Plays here, and today we'll be looking at the final 5 Roblox Train simulators I have for this small series of reviewing them. So first off, we have Rails Unlimited, which is set in America, and it's got a nice variety of trains. However, the trains aren't the best, and take the Sprinter here for example. It's pretty boring and doesn't look like the real thing at all whatsoever, other than the fact it's boxy and it's got a corridor connection, but it just doesn't look like a Sprinter. Plus it's called a 156 Runner. Now, there are no British trains called Runner, and in this game they name pretty much every single British train a Runner. I don't know why this is, but they just do. And all the British trains are quite bad quality, like they don't look like the real things. I mean, the American and possibly Canadian ones are quite realistic-ish, I guess. Or they've definitely put more effort in, but still, it's not the best models in the world. The scenery is alright, but it can get quite, samey after a while. And once you've gone around the map a few times, it's just kind of like you've run out of things to do. So, but yeah, the scenery's alright. It's not the best in the world, but I guess it's not any boring, bland stretches of just grass, which is alright. So, yeah, good for scenery. The route system is very complicated and hard to use, and is not user-friendly. The driver GUI is not really user-friendly. The sound effect for the American trains is very good, but the sound effects for the British trains, no. Plus, some of the European trains don't look like the real things, but oh well. So I'm probably gonna rate that 6 out of 10. So yeah, it's alright, I guess, but it's just not the best. And moving on, we have Terminal Railways. Now, Terminal Railways is a very good game, I guess. Although there are some parts where the scenery kind of lacks. And it just, sometimes you can get these quite ugly looking grey bridges going over lots of track, and it's just quite ugly, the scenery in parts, and very bland. The grass and sometimes you just get grass just surrounding it with nothing to see for miles. And then you get other times when there's loads of scenery and it looks very nice. Now, the train models are brilliant on the outside, but on the inside they have no interior. And it's just a bit annoying, really. So, that's kind of that game. The sound effects are alright. Not the best in the world, but I guess the Eurostar ones are alright. So, yeah. I'm probably going to rate this game, 7 out of 10? It's kind of averagey, I guess. To be honest, I think it's quite overrated, but oh well. Moving on, we have GCR. Now, GCR is a very good game. It's got some awesome trains, both inside and out. The interiors are very realistic, with proper seating arrangements, like 2x3 and 3x3 and 2+2. You get the idea for seating. Anyways, but the models are brilliant on the inside and the outside. They have nice interiors, they have nice exteriors, they've got cool liveries. They look like the real things as well, which is a benefit. And the sound effects are awesome. However, there are a few problems, which is sometimes the scenery can be very bland. Like, you'll have some awesome scenery, and then you'll leave it, between stations, it will just be grass and some track. And it's really quite boring. And then there are some stations, like a station called Fockingham, I think, where they've got no towns or anything. It's just 2 platforms, some buffers, and a bridge, and that's about it. So not really much at some of the stations, and others are just quite not the best in the world, and others are brilliant. So yeah, the buses are really quite weird, and they don't look like the real buses at all. But this is a train review, not a bus review, so I'm just going to not mention the buses. But yeah, it has working level crossings, which I think is a one-off. I don't think there's any other game with moving level crossings. There are some with level crossings, but they don't animate them going up and down. So yeah, it's a very good game. I'm probably going to rate it 8 out of 10. So yeah, very good game. I'd recommend playing it. And yeah, so the next game we have is Snow Hill Lines. Now, Snow Hill Lines is actually set around Birmingham, Snow Hill, and some of the lines going out to it to Dorridge and Whitlock's End. So it's all got real stations. Now, I've never been to Birmingham or any of these stations, so I have no idea what they look like. But I have seen photos of Moore Street and some of the lines, and it looks quite close, especially Moore Street and possibly Snow Hill and some of the other surrounding stations. But I haven't seen many out of like the Birmingham area, but I reckon they're probably very close. So yeah, it's very good in terms of scenery, although in Birmingham some of the buildings are quite boring. It's very hard to navigate your way around the city, and there's like all sorts of weird roads and floating blocks, and it's quite weird, but from a train view it's quite good. So yeah, very good game. In terms of trains, it can vary, and like just on one train it can vary. The cabs are brilliant. They always have a cab that looks realistic. The cab on the Pacer looks like it should belong in GCR, because the Pacer in GCR doesn't have a cab interior at all, really. And I think it's the only train that doesn't have a proper cab, but in GCR. But anyways, that's GCR. I already reviewed that. So back to Snow Hill Lines. Although it doesn't, the cabs look like very good. However, the interior on some of the trains is not present, because only half of the trains have interior, although when they release the next update this will change to the majority, because they're going to electrify the West Coast Main Line and add it, which will mean new electric trains. And I've played the testing game and it looks awesome, but that's all in the future. Yeah, the models are very good on average. The interior isn't there. Well, on the Pacer, I guess it's kind of lifelike because the interior is not the best, it just doesn't look like they've put much effort into the interior in real life. So yeah, that's kind of that game. Snow Hill Lines also has quite good sound effects as well. So that's SHL. I'm going to rate it 9 out of 10 because it's pretty awesome. Definitely worth checking it out. So yeah, that's SHL. Moving on, we have probably my favourite game on Roblox of all time, and it's very good. It's called SCR. You've probably heard of it. It's plastered all over my channel, so yeah. No surprises about why it's my favourite Roblox game. But anyways, yeah, SCR is probably the best train simulator on Roblox. Because although the models are not the best in the world, and they don't look quite like the real things, like some of them are quite blocky, and they're definitely not up to Trainware standards or GCR standards, and some of them SHL standards, but still though, they're very nice trains. Like they have very nice interiors, so I'll give them that. And some of the mesh trains are very nice. And for what it lacks in like detail, it makes up for in like play value. So you can do pretty much anything. You can drive trains, be a signaller, be a guard, be a dispatcher. Like you need to do training to become a dispatcher, guard, signaller, but still, it adds some realism to the game, and it's kind of feels a bit like real life SCR. So if you're going to go for an experience which is most like a real railway, definitely play SCR. It's got tons of stations, like 60 something stations, possibly even 70 something, I'm not sure. But it has a ton of stations, most of which are very nice. Some of them are quite old and kind of need upgrading, but they'll do them at some point as they pretty much upgrade loads of the bland stations. Sometimes you can get in-between scenery, which is quite boring. There's nothing there at all, like between West Wyvern and Starry Lock, but it's very rare, and there are loads of other bits which makes up for it. And the whole fact you can be a guard or a dispatcher. And the driving is, yeah, the driving is alright. It's got a very user-friendly GUI, however the acceleration and braking is quite unrealistic, but again it makes it kind of user-friendly, and it plays announcements so you know when to start slowing down, which is quite handy. So yeah, all in all, very good game. Definitely recommend checking it out, it's awesome. I'm going to rate it 10 out of 10 because it's a very good game. Definitely check it out. So I think that kind of wraps up this video and the entire series of this reviewing series of videos. So yeah, well, reviewing train simulators at least. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this 3-part series. I'll be doing aviation or flight simulators at some point, reviewing those. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you at some point. Goodbye.